Have you ever walked into a room full of people and felt as if no one really saw you? Have you ever said something important and were ignored, only to have someone else say the exact same thing 5 minutes later and everyone paid attention? There is something happening in social dynamics that you haven't noticed yet, something that separates those who are heard from those who are forgotten. And no, it has nothing to do with being extroverted or charismatic. It has to do with something much deeper, something the Stoics understood over 2,000 years ago. Today you will discover why some people command a room just by entering it, while others go unnoticed, even when shouting. And more importantly, you are going to learn how to change that. If you are tired of feeling invisible, of being interrupted, of seeing your ideas ignored, then take a deep breath, because what comes next might be uncomfortable, but it will set you free. Before moving on, if you truly want to understand how social dynamics work and apply this to your life, leave a like now and subscribe to the channel. This helps more people find this content and keeps you updated with reflections that can change everything. Now let's get straight to the point. The first truth that no one wants to accept is this: people don't ignore you because you have no value. They ignore you because you have already decided that you have no value. Yes, you read that correctly. Marcus Aurelius said that the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life, and that includes how others see you. When you enter an environment already feeling smaller, already expecting to be ignored, already prepared to stay in the corner, you emit invisible signals that scream, "Do not take me seriously." And do you know what happens? People obey. But here is the detail that will turn everything upside down. It's not about faking confidence. It's not about forcing a posture or memorizing punchlines. It's about something the Stoics called dignitas, an inner dignity that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Do you know that person who walks into a room and everyone naturally pays attention? They aren't trying to draw attention. They simply do not doubt their own value. And that changes everything. Because social dynamics work through invisible hierarchies. Not hierarchies of rank or money, but of presence. Those who respect themselves are respected. Those who value themselves are valued. But pay attention, here comes the part that hurts. You might have been sabotaging yourself for years without realizing it. You might be doing things that seem polite or humble, but in reality are making you invisible. Think with me. How many times did you stop yourself from speaking because you thought your opinion wasn't important? How many times did you laugh at a joke that offended you just to avoid creating conflict? How many times did you agree with something you didn't believe in just to be accepted? Every time you do that, you are teaching people not to take you seriously. You are training the world to ignore you. And the worst part, you are betraying yourself. Epictetus taught that we cannot control what others do, but we have total control over our choices. And every time you choose to diminish yourself, you are choosing invisibility. The good news? Every choice can be reversed. But first, you need to face a brutal truth. The problem is not with others. The problem is in how you relate to yourself. Let's talk about silence. Some people interpret silence as weakness, as a lack of opinion, but the Stoics knew that strategic silence is one of the most powerful tools in social dynamics. Do you know that person who talks all the time, who needs to fill every second of conversation? They aren't demonstrating confidence. They are demonstrating insecurity. They are trying to prove themselves. Now think of that person who listens more than they speak, but when they do speak, everyone stops to listen. Which of the two has more real power? The silence of the strong is different from the silence of the weak. The weak person stays quiet for fear of being rejected. The strong person stays quiet because they know that not everything deserves their energy. And that difference, that internal energy, is perceived by everyone around them even without a single word being said. But there is an even deeper secret here. Social dynamics are mirrors. They reflect exactly what you believe about yourself. If you believe you need to please everyone to be accepted, you will attract people who use you. If you believe you need to compete to have value, you will attract people who diminish you. If you believe you need to prove something, you will attract people who will never be satisfied. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So the question that changes everything is, what are you projecting? When you walk into a room, are you waiting to be accepted, Or do you simply exist without needing validation? Because that subtle difference is everything. It is the difference between being present and being needy. Now let's talk about something no one mentions. People don't connect with those who are perfect. They connect with those who are real. You might be trying so hard to seem interesting, successful, or confident that you are forgetting to be human. And that creates a distance. Because deep down, everyone is fighting invisible battles. Everyone has fears. Everyone has doubts. When you hide that, when you wear a mask of perfection, you become unreachable. And unreachable people are easily forgotten because no one identifies with them. The Stoics spoke about living according to nature. This doesn't mean being messy or purposeless. It means being authentic. It means accepting that you have limitations and still respecting yourself. Because then you become interesting. Then you become memorable. Let me tell you something that can change everything today. There is a giant difference between seeking approval and building real connections. When you seek approval, you adapt. You change according to the environment. You say what you think they want to hear. And do you know what happens? You disappear. Because no one remembers someone who agrees with everything. No one respects someone who doesn't have their own position. But when you seek real connection, you show yourself as you are. You speak what you think, even if it's different. You respect others, but you don't negate yourself. And that is when you become unforgettable. Because rarity draws attention, and authenticity is rare nowadays. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And wasting time trying to be accepted by people who don't value you is the greatest waste of all. But let's be honest, there are times when you will be ignored, even if you do everything right. There are times when you will speak and no one will listen. There are times when you will be present and feel invisible. And do you know what the Stoics would tell you about that? That it doesn't depend on you. You don't control how others see you. You only control how you see yourself. So the question is not, why do they ignore me? The question is, why does this bother me so much? Because if you know your value, if you are aligned with your principles, if you respect yourself, others' opinions become just information, not validation. You can listen, consider, learn, but you don't need to break because of it. And when you reach that point, something magical happens. People start to notice you, because you stopped needing to be noticed. Now pay attention to this, because this is where everything connects. Social dynamics do not work by fixed rules. They work by energy. Have you noticed that some people walk into a place and the energy changes? It's not about what they say, it's about who they are. And you can cultivate that. Not overnight, not with cheap tricks, but with daily practice. Start with one simple thing: respect your own boundaries. If something bothers you, speak up. If you don't agree, express it. If you need space, ask for it. Every time you honor yourself, you strengthen your presence. Every time you betray yourself to please others, you weaken it. And people feel that. They can't explain it, but they feel it. And they respond accordingly. The Stoics called this living in integrity. And integrity is magnetic. I'll give you a practical example. Imagine you are in a group conversation and someone interrupts you. You have two options. First, you let it pass, you laugh, you pretend it didn't bother you. Second, you pause, look at the person and say calmly, "Let me finish what I was saying." Which of the two options makes you more respected? The second one, always. Because you showed that you respect yourself. You weren't rude, you weren't aggressive, but you took a stand. And that teaches people to treat you differently. Now think about how many times you let it pass. How many times you swallowed the discomfort. How many times you accepted being interrupted, diminished, ignored. Every time you do that, you reinforce the pattern. So the change starts today. The next time someone disrespects you, even subtly, you take a stand. With calmness, but with firmness. And here is the turning point. When you change how you relate to yourself, you change how others relate to you. Not because you are manipulating anyone, but because you are radiating something different. You are radiating self-respect. And self-respect is contagious. People around you will start treating you differently, without even knowing why. Because the energy changed. Because you are no longer asking for permission to exist, you simply exist. And that is liberating. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayals, and unimaginable losses, and yet he wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So what is the quality of your thoughts about yourself? Are you treating yourself as someone important or as someone dispensable? There is one thing the Stoics taught that is fundamental to understanding social dynamics: detachment. Not detachment from people, but detachment from results. You can do everything right, respect yourself, take a stand, be authentic, and still, some people won't value you. And that's okay, because you aren't trying to please everyone. You are trying to live with integrity. And integrity means you don't change who you are based on who is in the room. You are consistent, you are solid, and solid people always find their place. Maybe not in the group you are in now, maybe not with the people you thought were important, but you will find it. Because authenticity attracts authenticity. Respect attracts respect. And when you stop forcing yourself into places that reject you, you will have the energy to build real connections. Now let's talk about something you might have never thought about. You might be invisible because you are trying too hard to be visible. Think about it. When you try to draw attention at all costs, when you force the situation, when you compete for space, you become predictable. And predictable is forgettable. But when you are simply present, when you contribute without needing spotlights, when you act out of purpose and not for recognition, you naturally stand out. Because most people are desperate for attention, and in the midst of that collective desperation, the one who is calm, who is centered, who doesn't need to prove anything, shines. Not because they are trying to shine, but because they are being real. And that is rare. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. So dare to be yourself." Let me ask you a direct question. Who do you become when no one is looking? Because that is the person you really are. And that is the person social dynamics will eventually reveal. You can fake it for a while. You can use techniques, strategies, masks. But at some point the truth comes out. So instead of trying to seem confident, become confident. Instead of trying to seem interesting, develop real interests. Instead of trying to be heard, learn to listen. Because the best social dynamics are not about you shining alone. They are about creating a space where everyone can shine. And when you do that, when you elevate others, you become indispensable. Because everyone wants to be near someone who makes them feel important. And you can only do that when you already feel important yourself. Let's talk about vulnerability. It seems contradictory, but one of the most powerful ways to create connection is to show that you don't have all the answers, that you also make mistakes, that you are also learning. The Stoics didn't preach a life without emotions, they preached a life where you are not controlled by emotions, and that includes accepting that you will feel fear, doubt, and insecurity. But you don't need to let those feelings paralyze you. When you admit to yourself and to others that you are struggling with something, you become human. And humans connect with humans, not with perfection. So stop trying to be perfect. Stop hiding your flaws. Stop acting as if you have everything under control. Because no one does. And when you accept that, you release others to do the same. And that is when real connection happens. Here is the climax of everything we've talked about so far. The moment everything changes, you realize it was never about being seen by others. It was always about you seeing yourself. You realize it was never about being accepted out there. It was always about you accepting yourself in here. And when you reach that conclusion, everything transforms. Because you stop seeking external validation. You stop measuring your value by how much others notice you. You stop depending on others' approval to feel complete. And that is when you become free. Free to be exactly who you are. Free to speak what you think, free to occupy space without guilt. And that freedom is perceived by everyone around you. Because internal freedom generates external presence. And presence is everything in social dynamics. Not forced presence, genuine presence. Marcus Aurelius lost children, faced plagues, and fought endless wars. And yet, he did not lose himself. He wrote his meditations not for the world, but for himself. To remember who he was when everything around him was falling apart. And do you know what he told himself? That nothing external could take away his inner peace. that nothing happening out there would change who he was in here. Now apply that to your life. Someone ignored you in a conversation. It doesn't change who you are. Someone didn't value your opinion. It doesn't change who you are. Someone made you feel small. It doesn't change who you are, because who you are does not depend on others. It depends only on you. And when you truly internalize that, when you live that every day, you become unbreakable. And unbreakable people command any room they walk into. So let's recapitulate, because this is far too important to overlook. You are not invisible because you have no value. You are invisible because you haven't recognized your own value yet. You are not ignored because you have nothing to say. You are ignored because you yourself ignore what you have to say. And that changes now. From this moment on, you are going to start treating yourself differently. You are going to start respecting yourself. You are going to start taking a stand. You are going to start honoring your boundaries, your opinions, your space. And as you do that, the world around you will respond. Not overnight, not magically, but progressively. Because you are changing the energy you project, and the energy you project determines the energy you attract. The Stoics knew this centuries ago, and now you know it too. The only question that remains is, will you apply it? We've reached the end, and you have a choice now. You can close this video and go back to the same patterns. You can continue feeling invisible, ignored, and diminished, or you can start the change right today. One choice at a time, one stand at a time, one boundary respected at a time. And as you do that, you will perceive something incredible. You don't need everyone. You need the right people. And the right people will find you when you stop hiding. If this content moved you, if something here resonated, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. It can be a yes. It can be your greatest difficulty with this. It can even be a disagreement. I want to know what you really think. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. We are all trying to find our place in the world. The difference is that some give up, and you are not going to be one of them.